Dear sisters and brothers, this is the broadcast for a period starting with August 15. Actually, it's about a week. It's a very specific week, actually, what we're looking ahead. I have mentioned this week coming, starting August 8. It was the Lion's Gate 8, August 8. And it's continuing since the August 8th at a 10 days time period, and it's going to be ending about August 18th. So it's a very precious week in terms of cosmic energies. August 15 was the day called the red spectral moon, according to the law of time calendar system. And it's towards the ending of the magnetic moon, the reflections and the frequency increases. So we have to use this force, actually. So what is the force? Basically, it's coming through our feelings, through our emotional setting. Energy is so high, like pressured water. So it's the suppressed emotions that are hidden and that are beneath a surface are going to come up to the surface. We are, of course, subject to the mechanism of influences, as you know from the knowledge book, but we have the control mechanism, who can control the influences coming from the mechanism of influences. So we need to learn to adapt this control mechanism to our life, to our emotional setting. And today we can start with the affirmation that belongs to the red spectral moon, the name of the day. It says, I dissolve in order to purify, releasing flow. I seal the process of universal water with the spectral tone of liberation. I'm guided by my own power doubled. I love this phrase. I mean, I like to be having a power doubled. I mean, it helps you if you're consciously aware of the energy of the day. It helps you to make use of the time. This is the purpose behind my Time Chronicles broadcast, to make use of the time that you have at hand, because it's going passing by very fast. So if you can't catch it, it's a waste of anything, waste of energy. So we have to make use one thing which is very important. We have to do something for the collective during this week, because the reflections are very high. And it is in such an operative setting that if we think for the goodness of the collective, for humanity, for the earth, for the universe, it is very likely that it can meet someone else's reflections, thoughts in that respect, and it can create a magnetic field that can turn into action. We can see results. That's why collective efforts are very important. If you wish something for yourself, it's not going to work. This is not that week. I mean, that's why please don't waste your time, waste your energy for your own three-dimensional wishes. That's not the purpose of the broadcast. You have to think about the collective. It can be anything. It can be recycling. It can be correction of a traffic on a road, which may cause accidents. It can be cleaning up trash at the beach. It can be about education or agriculture. At least generate some thoughts, even if you can't do anything about it. So it's the red moon days are acknowledgement. It enables an acknowledgement opportunity for the universal will. Yes, we can surrender, but surrendering doesn't mean fully surrendering. It means consciously surrendering. It's not like, okay, I surrender, I do nothing about it. It's not like that. It is contribution at the same time, while you surrender to the greater good of everything. So, this can be challenging because we are more, how to say, used to think for our own good instead of thinking for someone else's good. It can be challenging. But even if you can't do anything about it, please watch, observe, listen, and analyze. What is the, let's say, universe telling you? What is the collective telling you? Turn on your TV and listen. What is the collective statements are there? Or listen to anyone talking on the bus or in a metro. Is there any difference between your individual wishes, between the collective wishes and individual wishes? If yes, why is that? Why is there a difference? And the universal thinking, universal methods, or universal knowledge sets that are presented to you, are they really universal? Think about it. I mean, analyze it. Because the key to universal knowledge is whether it's universal or not. In order to understand, you have to ask the question, is it serving the collective? Is it really making sense, serving the greater good for humanity or for the universe? This is where you have to use your own mind and own thinking. The red moon is representing the frequency of 9. It means that teacher's frequency, and it also denotes to the repetition of some great cycles. I mean, we know that some teachers that has been on Earth throughout the human history did come back during this main graduation period. So we have to know that they are here to serve humanity. They help the high consciousness to grow, collective consciousness to emerge and grow. They also help to download the high frequency knowledge sets from above, from higher dimensions to Earth. And also it is a period that reminds us who we actually are. And what we actually can do. The most important thing as a human being is to create thoughts that serve the collective. This is the first very important action. Because through thoughts, you pull the cosmic energy, and that converts the thoughts into action, and then through action or through deep thinking, like a philosophical thinking, you convert the thoughts into consciousness. And as the dimensions grow higher, we have consciousness that replaces the thought. On the third dimension, fourth dimension, you have thoughts. But on the 19th dimension, omega dimensions, you have consciousness. Below the 19th dimension, anything that you do in terms of consciousness is a trial, is a demo of the real consciousness. You cannot do it below the 19th dimension properly. You can build a consciousness about something, but it can fade away, it can slide. I mean, you cannot think, you cannot keep it fixed at a point, because the whole humanity is not there yet. But on the 19th dimension, you can grasp this. So it is important that somebody is here to pull the frequency from that omega dimension down to the earth, so that we get the energy of the consciousness, so that we can build it. If this is not injected into our lives, this energy, we can fade away before reaching the 19th dimension, before reaching the real collective consciousness. So for the humanity not to fade away, we need these works. Whether you are aware of these works or not, it doesn't matter. I mean, those who are aware shall take the lead and shall take whatever you have to do in order to achieve this. Unfortunately, some focal points that are responsible for the work have now gone into a chaos, which is a reflection of chaos, because they are having some ego fights among each other, which is going to lead to closure of these focal points because they don't serve the purpose anymore. And what do we have right now? We have systems of beliefs right now on the earth. Believing is not thinking, but believing makes you think. On the third dimension, thinking is more primitive. On the fourth dimension, we start thinking or generating thoughts that is more deeper in terms of the analysis, that is more philosophical, more collective, and more causal relations are in the thought chain. In believing or just surrendering yourself to something, a set of belief, you're not thinking. But that leads to thinking through time. I mean, it's supposed to lead you to thinking, believing, and thinking. But if you just get stuck on the level of believing, you're not getting anywhere. You're a fanatic. You can be a religious fanatic. We all see these. And you can be also a universal fanatic. That's very dangerous because you may think you're universal, but no, you're not universal because you're not thinking. You're just a fanatic. And it's more dangerous than the religious fanatic ones. So what is said about the believing, I want to read something that is from the book The Great Power of Mr. Metin Tanergün. You know him from the Knowledge Book as well. He has some statements within the messages within the Knowledge Book. So I'm going to read you the message about believing. And it is dated August 15th, 2015. It was a day of transition. Believing. Everything is set upon believing in the system on earth. This goes on with the 5 senses for the humans and with different sensory systems for other animals and living beings. The humans get born and sees a being which he believes, sees and hears his voice. This is usually father and mother. Look, they say, this is your mother and father. And the first words he murmurs are mother and father, usually. Then everything that is perceived with his 5 senses is recorded in the memory of the brain. Everything that he sees, hears, touches, and eats is taken under record. That human infant then starts to believe in the information that he recorded. This goes on throughout his entire life. However, how could he believe in those beings whom he cannot perceive with his 5 senses? They tell the humans there are beings you cannot see and they are so and so. How shall he believe them? Given that the humankind believes in everything he sees in the environment he was born, be either on Earth or at any planet in space, is going to believe in everything he sees, lives, and hears in places he was born and found life. This means a big chaos. This is what is lived at the earth at the moment. This is why different people living in various countries at the earth, belonging to various religions, act differently and attack each other. He only believes in things available in the environments where he was born. The plans that the creating system has implanted in each living being cause these beings to act in this way. Now, it is difficult for him to believe in each being that comes out of the system that the human has grown within, because this does not prevail in their plans. Therefore, these plans must be changed for this. The necessary regulative interventions are initiated in order for the belief plans of the beings to be changed. The plans are being changed for the existing beings to believe in a soul power. At that time, this chaos is going to end and everything is going to be settled into an order as it has to be. For this, the sixth and seventh senses are needed. Anyhow, the plans of these senses are sent to the humanity through various ways, and their DNAs are being embroidered. The Great Power, August 15, 2015. So it means that we need new plans implanted into us, adapted to us, and these plans need to change our perspective from believing into thinking and into consciousness. I also want to read something from my book. Actually, this is the book called Orion, the Dream Truth, RQ2. It contains some channel messages of mine from Metin Tanergün as well. And it is a novel, actually. It's a format written as a science fiction novel, because this is how the humanity processes such information better than just channel books. Channel books are the knowledge book, for instance, or the book of the Great Power from Metin Tanergün. Knowledge book is written by Miss Bülent Çorak, and this is a book of the cosmos. So this is not something like that. This is just a novel that I wrote. But what I aim here to make the human beings who can catch this kind of information through a more simple setting, and then proceed to higher books that I previously mentioned. So I want to read you a section about thinking and thoughts. Cosmos, which collects the thoughts through scanning the human minds and creating statistics by clustering, may choose to activate some programs as a result of these analyses. Thoughts that are gathered around a focal point create a magnetic field, and the programs are downloaded onto this magnetic field and adapted to the whole world. If this program would be able to transfer the humanity from collective thought into collective consciousness, the program is transformed into an order. We call this trilogy of system, ordinance, and order. Let me explain. The system resembles the hardware of a computer. It is the outer box, the keyboard, or the visible parts. The ordinance is like the totality of the programs that run within the computer. You can see those programs, and it is a structure that runs based on the codes. If the human consciousness would be able to carry and process these codes and thereby build an advanced collective consciousness, the program establishes the order. And by transforming the program into an order, suitable platforms are built for downloading more advanced programs. A human being must have clean thoughts in order to establish a magnetic field. A magnetic field starts to get built through thoughts, or better said, mechanism of thoughts, influenced by the mechanism of influences. After a while, after the saturation of the magnetic field, even when thoughts would stop, the field continues to enrich and build itself further. When a thought would exceed the earth dimension, a more tranquil magnetic field is built. Upper dimensional chain of thoughts are activated, and it is enabling a formation of consciousness. So it goes on defining the consciousness and then the power dimensions that will be derived from these collective consciousness, the energy of it. Yes, this is more or less what I wanted to talk about. It. So please be aware of your thoughts and make sure they serve the collective good. Because even if you're alone, sitting and thinking in your own isolated room, your thoughts are reaching those who are thinking just like you, no matter where they live. So these collective thoughts are gathered from your disks, from your daily disks every night, and downloaded to a mainframe. And then they are clustered depending on what you're thinking. And if those thoughts can be enough in terms of carrying a frequency or energy, then it is converted into something else, which is consciousness, then into something else, which is power. And the power creates programs. The programs then create a better humanity or better life. So don't we deserve it? Don't you think? And please think about it. So I want to end here. I have more material to read to you, but I want to be short and compact. So thank you for listening. And if you like it, please share it with your friends. And people are asking about the pictures sending. They are created by my own drawings or photographs and mixing with artificial intelligence through some computer programs, and they carry the frequency, as this broadcast is also carrying a frequency. Thank you for listening.